Hey everyone, welcome to Long Arm Wednesday. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are working on another heirloom treasure coming out of the closet and going to be used on a bed or hopefully everyday situation. This is a beautiful flower. It looks like a flower to me. It is all hand appliqued all the way around, completely by hand. It had the blocks have been machine sewn together. It is a bit bigger than the other two that we had behind us here. There was the AO and the BO football themed, football themed. And you can see how this one turned out with the green backing, okay? And the lovely seafoam thread. Now this one, it is the same backing, but I chose cotton candy, my first time using cotton candy as well, pink, and just because I loved how it showed up on the green as well. It was a nice neutral tone, but still seeing the stitching throughout the whole beautiful flower project, because it is a scrappy adventure. I don't think a material has been used twice in this. So we're working on the last row right now. Then it's got the border and then I take it off, flip it around and work the other two borders. So right now what we want to do is we want to come all the way over to the last final stitch that Walt has stitched down. So I can set that last row to go within this whole area, what's left over, okay? So I'm going to say, yes, that's where he stitched last. And then the machine goes, okay, well, it's going to fit just perfectly fine. And already put it there, didn't even ask for, or did it? Yes. Okay, so now we can mark around the edge of the quilt so we can tell where we want it to stitch into, because we may have a little bit of a weeble wobbly block, we may have a weebly wobbly border, we may have a few weebly wobblies. So we just want to make sure we're going to stay within that and not to come close to the bottom or not come close enough to where it needs to finally stitch out. So I'm just clicking all the way, and then I'm just going to click along my previous stitches from the block or the row ahead just to make sure that I'm going to be able to place these correctly. So I just go a few just to make sure. Okay, and then I stop. And now this is giving me like a little border along the bottom. It's got a little a couple little waves to it, but nothing too drastic considering, you know, it's all been hand stitched. But I am shy on this side. Like this corner is not as pronounced as it should be. So I want to make sure when I'm putting this pattern down on this side here, I'm going to kind of tweak it up just a little bit so it stays within the block. Okay. And that is one of the many, many joys of the software. There. And then we are good to go. Okay, there we go. Now we can go and start. And this one is really well done. I've had to watch it, but not as like a hawk like the other ones. Okay, I'm starting it off. And I have slowed down the stitch just so I could pay attention to the quilt. Right? These are treasures and I want them to stay treasures. Some lovely fabrics going on in here, some I've never ever seen in my life. Skip just a smidge because I am here. And there's, like I said, it's really good. It's very well put together. It is a beautiful quilt top. And it's nice to know after 35 years of sitting somewhere where they barely even seen the light of day, they will hopefully be used. And I just thought that cotton candy pink really plays it with a lot of colors. It looks nice on the white with just enough visible. And it complements all the other fabrics on there. Now this one also has a couple of little stains on it, but we're going to try our best to work those out. So And I like the different threads used to do the applique stitch. It's a blanket stitch. So beautifully done. Yeah, just making sure to take that little extra care to make sure everything's going okay. Nothing's going to hook up on anything. And I didn't want to pick a pattern that was going to be too dense or too much to distract from the beautiful blocks themselves. So this one is called Fancy 3, edge to edge. And then I've been doing a clamshell in the border. Such a beautiful project. And I really do feel honored that I have been asked to quilt these up and make them so they're usable. So they will be used, you know. Very nice. Like the star, like a little bit of 3D star going on there. Some of the fabrics feel different because they are from a different time, right? They got a different texture to them. Yeah, really, really like that pink. And it's not too in-your-face girly color either. It just really nicely complements, and you can see the quilting so beautifully on the back here. Beautiful treasures. It's kind of got some curly cues and a couple little spirals and then like a little feather every now and again. So it's a nice little stitch out. And you can see how close it comes to the first row or the other row previously. So there's no gaps in between the rows. It's all nice and smooth. All looks nice and even and pretty. And this fabric on the border here is very linen-y feel to it. It just goes to show, you know, anything was used to make use of it, right? Nothing was wasted. And it's interesting to see how far fabrics have come in like the quilting industry itself since you know this time period or even beforehand. It does take a little bit longer, but I'd rather take the time and get it done right than have a mistake and then you end up spending more time trying to fix that mistake, right? So just take the time to watch it, make sure it's doing its job, everything's going great, everybody's happy. I said, a lot of time and money were spent on these projects. So, I don't know why he stopped there. Well, it's another beautiful treasure in the quilt shop. Thank you everybody for joining me today. Greatly appreciate you and your time. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, go ahead, click that too. It does help. Thank you everybody. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern for our live stream.